And I got to ask this, but as one of the first humans to start running the numbers on this thing, do you get nervous when you're calculating the trajectory and how close it could pass to Earth?
Of course, certainly. Even in this case, it was very surprising to see such an orbit that we had in our computers. So at the beginning, I couldn't believe this is interstellar. So I was even thinking maybe some observations are wrong. I was even contacting observers. Can you please confirm your observations are correct? And they responded, yes, they are. So even for us, it was really an exciting discovery.
An object from outer space has hurtled into our solar system and is only the third such object we've been able to detect, known as 3I Atlas, the comet, which was first reported on Tuesday by a telescope in Chile. And these are pictures from telescopes from the European Space Agency tracking the object's movements. The good news, the comet poses no threat to Earth. I spoke with Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist and professor of science at Harvard University, as well as the author of the best-selling Extraterrestrial, the first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth.
Now, we had asteroid watch for the Earth. We're still a bit worried. Well, we're worried for the moon now.
But we're worried for the moon, that's right.
For the moon. There's a comet heading for the sun, but we're not worried?
We're not worried. We're actually excited because this appears to be a comet not from our own solar system. So when you think about everything that we pretty much talk about in terms of asteroid watch and the comets, those are all in our own solar system. There's very few things, in fact, it's only the third that we've discovered that have come from another solar system. Because you actually need enough energy to escape the pool of your star.
Right.
Think of it like a roller coaster.
So there's a point at which you... Because I'm thinking, what's the boundary? And the boundary would be at the point that one pool ends and another starts.
Oh, pretty much.
You've got to have enough energy to get out, otherwise it sort of peters out and loops back.
Exactly, that's right. And
so, like everything's on a loop.
Exactly, and that's kind of always heading towards the sun. So if for some reason you have enough energy, you can get over that hump and then keep going. And so we think these are comets that were actually thrown out of another star system. And so
a really serious explosion.
Or something, some sort of energy source.
How amazing is it that we humans have a word for something that literally flies between stars? And so far, we've only known about 2 interstellar visitors in our recorded history. That is, until now, because astronomers have just detected another something out there blazing into our solar system at like 152,000 miles an hour. And unlike Earth and the rest of the planets that are locked into orbit, this thing is not going to be here for very long. Now, you might remember the other 2 interstellar objects that we've talked about a lot here. The first one was Oumuamua back in 2017. It was known for that weird long shape, the weird movements, and all of the theories behind its origins. Then came 21 Borisov. It looked a little bit more like a traditional comet. Now entering the solar system, chat, is 31 Atlas. This is it. Right here, just popped up on astronomers' radar a few days ago, thanks to the Atlas Planetary Defense System. It is still a blurry dot in the sky, but the early data is suggesting that this thing could be miles wide. The good news for Earth, 31 Atlas is not coming anywhere near us. This is the trajectory right here. It's kind of close to Mars, but not really, but it's still pretty far away from Earth. Researchers say it'll swing by the sun at about twice our distance. That's going to happen right around Halloween. Our next guest helped calculate its trajectory. So let's hope he is right. Dr. Peter Varesh is an astronomer at Harvard's Minor Planet Center. Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. Let's start with a track here. Like, how good of a look are we going to get at this thing come late October?
Good evening from the Minor Planet Center. So indeed, we are very lucky that we discovered this object because it is such a rare event, only third ever in our history to be detected. And we are also lucky because the object was detected pretty far from Earth, and we will have almost 1 year to observe this object. It is also quite massive and pretty bright, so right now even amateur astronomers can observe it and actually submit data to us, to the Minor Planet Center.
It seems extremely bright. Are these super rare, or are we just getting better at seeing them out there in the dark?
I would say they regularly go through the solar system, but until now we didn't have the detection capabilities to see them. So thanks to the program like NASA's Planetary Defense and the activities funded by NASA, they are searching for near-Earth asteroids. These objects are being finally found.
I began by asking him what can be gleaned about this comet.
This comet is moving very fast, about 1,000 times faster than the speed limit in a highway, 66 kilometers per second. And it's definitely able to escape from the solar system. It was never bound to the sun. It came from outside. And it's very bright. That's the surprising fact. And it's so bright that if it were just reflecting sunlight, a solid object reflecting sunlight, its diameter has to be 20 kilometers, bigger than the Chicxulub impactor that killed non-avian dinosaurs 66 million years ago. But there is another possibility that it's not that big, and in fact it's evaporating. It's a comet, and most of the mass of the comet is in the core, which is much smaller than the plume of gas and dust that reflects sunlight. We don't know whether it's a comet. We will see it getting brighter in the coming months. It will never come close to Earth. It will get within 40% of the Earth-Sun separation to Mars. It will also come close to Jupiter, but Earth would be on the opposite side of the Sun when it passes closest to the Sun. So there is no risk to us, but it's a very interesting object. You know, science is exciting because it's an opportunity to maintain our childhood curiosity. And here is an object that came from outside the solar system, very unusual. Is it a comet? Is it something else? We don't know yet.
And Avi, I just want to get your thoughts then. You theorized that the object discovered back in 2017, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, the Oumuamua, could have been of alien origin. That's far from sort of a mainstream consensus view, and some would say that's very far out.
I have science fiction in my head, so I just think of a big control room, and it's like, oh look, sir, we have something inbound. But I understand that a lot of this is, a collaboration between NASA, amateur astronomers, what you guys do at Harvard. How does it actually work? How are the trajectories calculated, and what makes us so sure it's interstellar?
So basically, you need a lot of observations. At the moment this object was first seen, it wasn't really clear this is an interstellar object. It was, again, one of the typical candidates for a near-Earth object, but thanks to the fact that people thought this is a potential near-Earth object, it was posted to our object website, Near-Earth Object Confirmation page, and we quickly got a follow-up from people around the world, from amateur astronomers, from professionals, also people looking through archives, and it was pretty clear within a day this object is not bound to the sun, and we got a really strong hyperbolic orbit. So it was clear and evident within one day this object is not bound to the sun, and it's flying to the solar system at this point.
You can never have enough people looking up, I guess. Any idea on where it's coming from, and how does it compare in size and speed to Oumuamua or Borisov?
It's coming from the upper direction of the constellation of Sagittarius, and it will be flying away toward the constellation of Gemini. And it's apparently much larger than Oumuamua or Borisov. Of course, at this moment, we don't know its exact size because it was only discovered 2 days ago. So large telescopes are pointing toward this object as we are speaking right now. But the estimated diameter could be somewhere between 10 to 20 kilometers. Or even smaller if the object is active, and it's likely to be active. So it's much larger. Oumuamua was only about 50 to 100 meters across and flat, very odd shaped. And Borisov was a comet that has probably half a kilometer across. But this object is much larger and much brighter, and we have a lot of time to observe it.
Well, Oumuamua, the object from 2017, was very different. There was no evidence for a coma, for a cometary tail, no evaporation, yet it was pushed away from the sun by some mysterious force. It had some form of propulsion, and moreover, it had a very extreme shape. The brightness, as a result of it reflecting sunlight, changed by a factor of 10 every 8 hours as it was tumbling. And I suggested that it may be space trash. We have launched objects to space that are pushed by reflecting sunlight. In fact, one of them was discovered a few years after Oumuamua, and it was just a rocket booster from a 1966 launch by NASA. We know that one was technological in origin because we produced it. And the question I raised was, who produced Oumuamua. It was very different from a comet, definitely not a comet the way we are familiar with in the solar system. This one may be a comet, we don't know yet. As it comes closer to us, we will know. If it's not a comet, this one is even more peculiar than Oumuamua.
I was even contacting observers. Can you please confirm your observations are correct? And they responded, yes, they are. So even for us, it was really an exciting discovery.
Very exciting. And we are all praying your math holds up.